Where are we now?
Where are we now? Welcome back to a bit of we are navigating the smoke monster area from Lost.
Sorry, I got lost in Guns N' Roses.
Yeah. I actually watched, not this is necessarily related, but it kind of is. I watched a sort of official documentary about Nine Inch Nails in the early years.
Whoa!
Fuck, I fucked up.
Oh, yeah, you did. What were the early years for Nine Inch Nails? It was like 93, 94?
88 to 96.
Whoa, really?
Yep.
Wow.
Because Pretty Hate Machine came out in 89, so Reznor was already writing that.
It was that
in
early?
88.
Holy crap.
And you can tell because the sound in it is very synth heavy. And then there's not really any album after that that had the same sound. Because he actually said in this documentary that he wanted to completely change the next album's sound. He pretty much did that from then on out. With all... God damn it.
Wow, you're garbage.
He pretty much did that from then on out with all future album releases. I mean, towards the end, they start to sound a little
they got
homogenous, but
really similar toward the end.
I think in his, what I like to call more inspired years of the 90s and early 2000s, he definitely was being more experimental with stuff. And Downward Spiral, which came out in 94, was like a completely concept album that really came together as like a whole really well. That whole album is really meant to be listened to in one sitting all the way through.
That's a story album. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Ew, it's gross.
I
hate it.
Fuck, I hate these fucking things. Because they fucking multiply every time you kill the bigger one. And then you gotta deal with other bullshit attacking at the same time. Okay.
Was it on Netflix or something?
No, I just found it on YouTube. I was like bored and I needed some like background. I'm finding that now in my 30s, I need like background noise, whether it be music or like, movie that I don't have to actually pay close attention to.
Right.
To keep my mind like occupied while I'm doing other things like cleaning or
I'm 100%
chores.
that I cannot do with a movie or a TV show. I will not. Music, I have to always have music playing all the time. 100% of my day music's playing in the background, but a movie or TV show, no, absolutely not. That it's not like a sense of disgrace to the thing that you're watching. I don't really subscribe to that line of thought.
Okay.
But it's just like you can't say that you watched a movie if you were like doing chores in the background.
Yeah, I don't watch movies I've never seen before that way. I'll watch something that I've seen like a dozen times and I could like recite
that
from
makes
memory.
more sense.
Just because, it's fun to have in the background.
Viv does that crap all the time. Like she'll be excited to watch a movie she's never seen before and be like, all right, yeah, let's go watch it, and then like spend the whole time shopping on Amazon on her phone.
My ex used to do that. Like we'd try to watch, like, this was back in
a billion years ago.
Yeah, a while ago. And we would watch like something like Battlestar Galactica or something like Mr. Robot, back when new episodes were still being released. And she'd be like,
those are like deep intrigue series.
And I'd be like, all right, we're gonna watch this together, and we'd sit down, have dinner, and then begin to watch it.
No.
And she would get up like 2 or 3 times to, go do something, go to the bathroom, and I would pause it, but then she would be gone for like 5-10 minutes a click. And then when she sat down, she would look at her phone and be like texting a friend or looking at Facebook. I'm like, why are we even bothering with this right now?
And like, I have no, like, if you're going to get up and like get a snack, fine. I have no problem with that. Don't like get up and be like, no, it's fine. Don't pause it. Like that defeats the whole purpose.
Right.
Because I'm definitely not going to tell you what happened.
Right. Shit.
You got shot in the back.
I did.
Are you carrying something?
I'm carrying a little glowy orb thing.
Oh.
That's why I'm moving fucking slow as shit. Yeah, it's like perfectly timed, so you just barely make it out of there. At least you can still shoot, though. Fuck. And today I was watching some mini documentaries about the gaming industry, specifically about id Software, Bethesda Software, Valve, Sierra, when they made like the first Half-Life and even the second one. And the most recent one was, well, actually the most recent
This
two.
is all one documentary or documentaries?
No, like
on
different
those separate...
individual ones on the studios that created these like major, groundbreaking and like influential games. Like, you know, the id Software one was about Doom. Bethesda was about like the Elder Scrolls. Valve was about the original Half-Life. And then I watched one on Guerrilla Games that made Horizon Zero Dawn, which we've been talking about recently because I
just bought
that. Yeah,
I haven't unwrapped it yet because I'm in the middle of Death Stranding.
And I also watched Arcane, the one about Arcane Studios, who made like Dishonored 2, and Prey, which are both game series that I really liked.
Right.
So it was pretty interesting. The sweet gum seal.
Right. The
thing you know.
Yeah. What are we doing with this now?
Now we got to go down south.
I feel like a drunk hobo that's just being dragged through this game.
You are.
And you're just be like, all right, we're going over here. I'm like, yeah, all right, let's go. What? Yeah. Coffee? So what did you learn from your documentaries, Ives?
I learned about like the development process a little bit and how things kind of came to be, because especially with Half-Life. God damn it! I can't fucking do the ground stomp.
You made him naked.
With Half-Life, there were all sorts of like side like DLC games, and this is pre-DLC, so I'm calling it DLC, but it's not technically what that was at the time. In the form,
where they got the episode, the idea for episodes.
Yeah, for like Opposing Forces and Blue Shift, which were the two.
Well, those were started out as mods, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what they talked about. Is that my dog's gonna pee?
Pause break. We finished the most recent episode of Mandalorian thanks to your Disney Plus.
Okay.
Thank you again, by the way.
Sure.
As soon as I clicked on start to start the episode, it didn't give me the option to start from beginning.
Oh, so you
and
saw
it just
the
went
credits.
No, it went into resume, and it was just the clip of being passed out on the bench, and I was just like, well. I know how this one ends.
Sorry.
I'm like, doesn't matter. You still don't know how it got to that point, but I was like, oh, they killed. Cool. And so like I went like Viv didn't see it, and I was like, oh cool, the episode's ruined for me because looks dead on a bench, so I assume he's dead. So I go back to the main menu and I hit start from beginning, and it like the title card comes up and it's tragedy. Like, what the God damn it.
That was pretty good. Alright. Let me start this up. Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know you paused it. Good job.
Yeah.
We're back from pause.
We are back, and my dog went to pee. Now he's better.
His little baby doggy bladder is now empty.
Yep. Little baby doggy. Even though he's fucking old as shit.
Yeah, he's not a baby. But all dog are baby. According to the internet.
What the hell was I talking about?
I don't know. Let's rewind the episode.
I was talking about the documentaries that I watched about gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Like Opposing Forces and Blue Shift being mods that turn into like story-based.
Oops. I dropped the couch pillow. Everything's okay.
Story-based like side stories for the main game.
Yeah, Blue Shift was like you follow around like one of the security officers, right?
Yeah. The hell was his name? Like Randy or Rand, like something like that.
Simon, security guy.
Yeah. But one of
the guy who starts out Half-Life 2 with going, "Hey Gordon, I got your crowbar."
One of the stories being told by the host of this particular documentary was that he was high off of edibles once at a friend's, or no, he was in the back of like a comedy place, and he started having audio hallucinations about one of the other scientists that Gordon Freeman interacts with, who's like a very distinct kind of like nerdy sounding voice. And you know, he had those like audio hallucinations for like about an hour or something, he said. And then he realized that the dude who actually does the voices for that character in the game was at the comedy place that he was at. He was hearing him.
So weird.
It was just a really bizarre coincidence. So he's like, yeah, it totally threw me for a loop.
That's pretty funny.
Oh, shit. God damn it, there's too many things. Okay.
I was talking to a guy that we both used to work with,
Okay.
who shall remain
nameless.
rename unnamed, because of the story I'm about to tell. I'm like just catching up because we never really chat. We never see the guy online or anything like that. We never play games with him. And I sent him a text. I'm like, hey man, just seeing how you're doing, what's going on. I hope your family's okay and everything. And we ended up getting into like a really long text chain of catching up with each other's lives and seeing how we were doing and everything. And
Okay.
I was like, so are you playing anything? Or like, what are you doing these days? How's work? Because he moved on to a different company.
Okay.
And he's doing really well. We're really happy for him and everything. And I'm like, so what are you up to these days? Are you like watching any new shows, new movies? Do you have any recommendations? You know, and he's like, actually, I've just been doing the same stuff, watching this, you know, I'm into anime, watching this new anime. I'm like, all right, that's cool, whatever. Not really, like, I'm into it, but I don't have the time to dedicate.
Yeah, anime's an investment of a lot of time.
It is, because it's like a season can be 15 episodes, but there's 48 seasons that you missed, and now you got to catch up on them.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got a little bit into edibles.
Really?
And I'm still trying to figure out my proper dosage. Because sometimes it's just like I have a really good afternoon, and sometimes I have to clear my weekend, and I didn't plan on clearing my weekend.
Right.
That's something like I can relate to vicariously through other people.
Yeah.
Because I never grew up smoking or doing any kind of drugs at all.
There we go.
But I've always hung out with the stoners.
Yeah.
So, like, I know through my very close friends and family what it's like to try and figure out how to deal with
Life.
well, not just life, but like if you've never smoked X amount before,
Yeah.
how it's going to affect you, or something along those lines. I mean, every person that I've hung out with has been a stoner, basically, and I was always the odd man out for not smoking.
I used to be able to be a high-functioning weed smoker, but now, like, that I'm older, I just can't. I have to, like, be somewhere comfortable and safe with lots of food and drink around. I don't have to get off my ass. I can just chill. Because it's just too much effort to, like, try to figure shit out when your brain is only half operating.
Well, especially if you go to from habitually
Yeah.
to, like, once in a blue moon.
Right.
Because your tolerance level just gets all fucked up, and then you don't know what's good or not good anymore.
Yeah, it is true.
I was talking to X about this.
Mr. X.
Mr. X.
Was he chasing you in a trench coat and a fedora?
No, thankfully. Had a much different conversation. He's like, yeah, I accidentally ate too much without realizing it this past weekend. And I spent my entire weekend in my apartment just playing, watching anime in the background.
Okay.
And not paying attention to it. And playing Overwatch.
Okay.
The entire weekend. Not realizing that I was on call for work. And missed, like, all these important emails and support chain things that I had to do.
Wow.
And, like, thankfully nothing bad came of it, but it was just like I kind of fucked up without realizing that I fucked up. And, like, apparently he had finished, like, all of whatever he was watching and had no idea.
What had happened?
Like, he has, like, a Crunchyroll subscription. And, like, it tracks what you watch. So it says, like, you finish this, you finish this, you finish this. And he's like, I don't remember watching any of this. I have no idea where the story is,
Right.
what happened to any of these characters. So, like, the next time I went to go watch it, it started off some point. I had no idea what was going on. Like, all these characters were dead. And I was like, what happened to their storyline? I was like, yeah, man, can't relate. Glad you're doing well.
I think the last time, it wasn't through edibles, but the last time I got really stoned, my friend from the UK came to visit me, and we watched the continuation, can't really call it a reboot, of Twin Peaks that David Lynch put out a couple
Oh,
years
yeah, I still
back.
have to watch that.
It is, I mean, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward, but there are a few episodes that are trippy as balls because he's known for doing that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and also it's Twin Peaks.
And when you're high, you're just like, is this not making sense because I'm high, or is it not making sense because it's David Lynch?
Yes. The answer is yes. Jeff raved about that. I think he recently just finished it, and he said he really enjoyed it too.
Okay.
I mean, Twin Peaks wasn't popular for our demographic when Twin Peaks was out and a new thing.
Yeah.
We were not the demographic. We were way too young.
You're right.
But like, after we started working at the cinema, we met a bunch of people who were, above our age bracket, but we became really close friends with, and like, yeah, you got to watch Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And so we did, and we got into it hard.
It
was so good.
It has like a very 90s feel, but with like a surreal quality that makes it more compelling than anything that came out in the 90s.
Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it on the head. That's exactly what it is. It has this perfect sense of nostalgia without it being experienced by you.
Yeah.
It's a very odd kind of thing, and it's very much of that time,
Right.
but also on its own. Kind of like, I don't know how we'd phrase it. It kind of like created its own thing while still being part of like a group of things created at that. It's not Cheers.
It became a timeless
it's
piece
like
of nostalgia.
Cheers.
Yeah.
You have all these characters that you know and love or grow to love.
Right.
And everybody knows everybody else. But there's also this sense of like dread and unease.
Yeah.
Even though everything's fine.
And a lot of like people who eventually became big in the movie and TV industry like were in that too. Like Kiefer Sutherland makes an appearance in it.
Yep.
Obviously Kyle MacLachlan's the main character.
What a handsome man.
Yeah. Which reminds me, we haven't talked about this yet, but they're remaking Dune. It's supposed to come out this month.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be terrible.
You think?
Oh, it's gonna be awful.
I don't know. The preview looks pretty cool.
The preview looks terrible.
You don't think? You don't
No,
think it looks
I think
cool?
it looks bad.
You're being sarcastic.
No, I genuinely think it's going to be bad.
Okay.
I think it's going to be maybe not horrible, but it's going to be pretty close to horrible.
What do you think is going to make it bad specifically?
Just everything about that movie is going to be bad.
Okay.
Top of the list, probably the acting.
You think so? Because they got a lot,
Underneath that list, the dialogue writing.
Okay.
Underneath that, everything else. And like Viv is a gigantic Dune fan, hard Dune fan, and we watched when the trailer dropped. Like, you were the first person to like send us the link because you were so excited about the new trailer, and you're like, "Oh, this looks awesome!"
I think AJ sent the link and I commented on it first.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. AJ sent us the link, and then like I think you were the first in the chat to be like, "Oh, looks great," and like I watched it with Viv, and even she was just like, "Oh, I don't know."
I mean, it's got a dark, gritty feel to the trailer, which is in keeping with...
That's on point.
Yeah. And you're right, it doesn't really reveal a lot about the acting or story, but... writing, but... I don't know, I feel like they have the tools to make it work.
But that's kind of where I have this sense of dread, partial sense of dread, is... How many times have they made a movie where they have all the tools to make something awesome, and it just like this just horrible turd?
True.
Like, you have like this bottomless well of source material, and not just source material, but source material that's been done already.
Yeah.
And how can you fuck that up? Like, you have a formula. You have all the ingredients.
Unfortunately, there's lots of ways, and they've all been...
See, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. They've done that too many times.
Fuck. All right. So
I was talking to Marianne about the Monster Hunter trailer that came out. Did you see that?
I haven't.
Oh,
actually, I think
we got to
I
take a
have.
break and watch the Monster Hunter trailer.
Is that? Am I getting my wires crossed, or does that have like really famous actress in it as well?
It has the Resident Evil actress
Mila
Mia
Jovovich.
Yes.
Jovic. I don't know how you pronounce her last name.
I mean, she's no longer the Fifth Element actress. She's now the Resident Evil
Yeah.
actress. We'll talk more about Monster Hunter on the next episode.
All right. Hey, doggy's back. Fuck, doggy, you're distracting me.
Why? He's just trying to find a place to sleep because he's the dog that took a nap.